I'm willing to bet most people aren't aware of how bad the United States government.
Hi everyone. So ever since coming to America, I've heard many people make the argument that they cannot trust both political parties. And because of that, they vote for candidates that best aligns with their values. And I get that way of thinking. But when I came here, it didn't take very long for me to realize that I could never vote Democrat. And it's because I discovered what I believe is a fundamental difference between the two ideologies. Democrats in general judge success based on their intentions. On the other hand, conservatives judge success based on results. Here's what I mean. So for a Democrat, ending homelessness may sound good and may be a noble goal. However, when they implement policies to try to curb homelessness and those policies fail, they never look back and say, maybe we should do something different. They always pat themselves on the back and say, at least we were trying to do something. On the other hand, Republicans will say, in order for us to do something, we have to have evidence that it's going to work. And if we cannot provide evidence that it's going to work, then we're not going to invest in that thing. And because of that, Republicans always sound like they're stopping progress. And Democrats can call themselves progressives because they want to move forward with items that are unproven, even if those items end up failing. And if you think I'm mistaken, just take a listen.
Yes, what I see on social media demonstrations and it's causing a lot of people to actually forget what is going on. This man said a lot. Now going into this video of Tulsi Gabbard, a question surfaced about Trump.
So if you get the call, I've heard you answer this at least once already.
Yeah.
But I sense that the momentum is going to go in that way. Like, you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready because I know what is at stake in a deep and visceral way in this election.
Yes, a lot of Republicans are sounding off. I've seen many people talking about Tulsi Gabbard being Trump VP. Many Republicans still think that Tulsi Gabbard is a Democrat. But she said something on Joe Rogan show and they talk about my way and given reasons why people should not vote for Democrat.
All the things that are in play right now. If I was going to try to destroy the country, that's how I would do it.
I'm willing to bet most people aren't aware of how bad the United States government is fucking the people who lost their home in the Maui fire. See, as a result of the Maui wildfire, 2,207 homes in Lahaina burnt down. And I'm sure that you would imagine there's a lot of reconstruction going on. But you'd be wrong. See, since the Maui fire, not a single building permit has been approved. Not one. Oh, and I'm sure you'd also think that all the people that had their homes burned down were going to be receiving insurance payouts. And you're probably thinking that the only reason they haven't received those insurance payouts is because of the evil insurance companies don't want to pay them. But you would be wrong again. See, the insurance companies haven't been able to pay anything because the United States government won't even allow the insurance adjusters into the area, where all they want to do is go in there and verify that these buildings have burned down. They want to verify how extensive the damage is for each of the homes that they insured. And for a lot of these homes, it would be as easy as them driving up, taking a picture of a burnt down property, therefore verifying that that home no longer exists, and then they could cut a check. But the U.S. government won't let them do that. And the U.S. government won't let anybody rebuild.
Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Rogan, noting the victims of the Lahaina fire, received less support from the Biden administration than illegals or Ukraine. You can clearly see what is going on. This guy, at the beginning of this video, said a lot of things pertaining to that. And he went further to point out why he would never vote for Democrat.
If you looked at the whole picture, all the things that are in play right now, if I was going to try to destroy the country, that's how I would do it. If I was going to try to destroy the country, I would radicalize the kids. I would give them the stupidest ideas.
Just take a listen.
How long has it been now? August will be 1 year. August 8th.
The most insulting thing was the $700 one-time payment from the government. Like,
Yeah.
that is, who said yes to that? Who allowed that? And at the same time, releasing this number where they accidentally had sent Ukraine $6 billion. Remember that?
Yeah, they said, oh, well, we lost track of this $6 billion, and so now that we've found it because of some accounting error, now we can go and send it to Ukraine.
And they were automatically assuming they were going to send that anyway.
Of course.
Sending more.
Of course.
But no consideration at all.
No, I remember specifically when the fires had just happened, the White House brought in the director of FEMA to talk to the White House press corps, and someone asked the question, what are you, FEMA, what are you actually doing for the people who've been impacted by this tragedy? And the director stood there with a straight face and proudly said, well, we have provided a one-time payment of $700 to everyone who has been impacted by this fire or displaced by this fire. And that was her big announcement that she was there to make. One single one-time payment of $700.
So that means you have 700 servings of ramen.
Basically. I mean, you can't even rent a bedroom in someone's house for $700. It's
certainly you can't for 8 months.
No.
That's what's crazy.
No.
$700 is so crazy. It's just such an insulting and ridiculous number. And the fact that they haven't given more. It's like, but flying people around on airplanes that come in illegally through the border?
Yeah.
Just like, how much does that cost?
Yeah, exactly.
What does that program cost?
Exactly.
Like, what does that cost?
Multi-billions of dollars if I had to guess. It's FEMA has other services. It's a lot of bureaucracy. It's a lot of paperwork. And residents on Maui, they were being told, like, okay, well, hey, if you accept this kind of aid from FEMA, you are ceding some sense of your sovereignty or decision-making ability with regard to your land or your property, and all of the red tape essentially that caused a community who are rightfully skeptical about government coming in and saying, okay, well, we're going to help you, when that same government said, oh yeah, hey, we may at that time, and the governor said this, and then he corrected himself later on, but he's like, oh yeah, we're thinking about and talking about how we can turn this entire place, have the government take ownership of it and turn it into some kind of memorial or some kind of workforce housing, which obviously made people really freaking mad to say, like, well, who the hell are you to come in here and say you're just going to take our land? You're just going to take it and do what you want with it? So they're obviously very skeptical and rightfully so about.
Yes, I decided to do this video for one reason. The Biden administration at this point has clearly made people to understand the kind of game they are playing. You saw this man at the beginning of this video giving reasons why he cannot vote for Democrat. This is one reason. We saw what happened in Maui. I was fortunate enough to see a video where Tulsi Gabbard today had this interview with Joe Rogan. They sat down to discuss what we saw. And I did a lot of segment pertaining to that Maui fire where Biden actually went there and only gave $700. Just imagine that. They thought something would be coming. They waited, I think, about a year now. When you even look at the situation of some of these people till date, very concerning. When you take a look at social media and what is going on in school campuses, it is actually making people to forget real issues. The border issues, like Trump outlined recently, these are big problems. But these campus demonstrations will just full everywhere and people will forget about it. This is a segment I decided to call back to create an awareness so people can really reflect to see what the Biden administration is doing. It is time for people to see it. If by now you cannot be able to judge it by yourself, then I don't know, you will never see it again. It gets me offended when I see people putting out videos on social media complaining, like, I'm not comfortable. I'm saying this is happening. Then at the end of the day, they will go to the polls and still vote for these same people. Make right decisions at this time because you are able to see what is going on. When I look at the polls, Trump is topping. Even CNN was shocked